Well, today I want to talk about my ministry, partnered with the Ministry of Agriculture, that we are upcoming for a trip to China. This is my second visit, or to be my second visit to China since I took over the portfolio of international trade. Now, people can ask, why China? There are several reasons, in particular to agriculture. The general reason is really China is an emerging market, or one of the strongest emerging markets. Still, in terms of new trade and investment, they kind of like ranking number one now in the world in terms of trade. Secondly, our ministry, looking at our own trade, we trade very heavily with U.S., the America. We export about 78% to America and importing about 60% from America. So this is the weight, is very, very heavy with the U.S. And I think it's good to able to diversify to the rest of the world, because sometimes there's a lesson learned in the 2008 and 9 when the world recession hit the U.S. so heavily that it actually impacted Ontario negatively in a very, very bad way. So it's good to diversify. But having said that, we always remember America is our number one market, very close to us. We can diversify by reducing the percentage of trading with America. It does not mean that our trade volume with America will decrease. We want that number to increase. We just want to diversify in terms of the percentage of trading with the world. Go back to the reason why China. Well, it's an emerging market, a big market, huge market, in particular to food. They have 1.3 billion people who need food every day. And at the same time, they need good food. They need food with safety. They need food with good security. Once in a while, we do have some of those bad stories come out from the Asian Rim countries that their food is not as good as quality to ours, or being safe as ours. So I believe in China or Taiwan or Hong Kong or Philippines or other places in Asia that the safety of food is in people's concern. I actually was watching TV, and as you know, the Chinese government is at the moment having their meeting, the annual meeting, and a few days ago, it caught my attention that the Chinese, they were doing some kind of polling their people on a number of issues. For example, they poll how the Chinese would see the environment, and 20-some% that is important to them. And they poll about how security is important to the Chinese people. The poll actually is about 20-some%. And they also poll about what's their concern about food. And the number is very, very huge. If I can remember that correctly, it's 52% of the Chinese being polled had concern about their food safety. So when you add these things together, I think it makes sense for Ontario to look into opportunity on food, on agriculture, trade with China. We overall investment in Ontario, I would say we are very good in terms of attracting investment into Ontario. Our tax is quite low compared to other U.S. jurisdictions or the rest of the world. Our safety or security is also excellent compared to many other countries. And also investing in Ontario, because we are very close to the most heavily populated area in the US. I mean New York City, Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore. So anybody who invests in Ontario able to access those markets within a few hours drive. So it makes sense to come to Ontario. In Ontario, our agriculture is very strong in comparison to the rest of the country. I'm repeating myself here. Probably some of you already heard about that in Ontario, in Canada, the best soil, the farming, growing crop soil, more than half of those soil located in Ontario. So this is a big advantage. And of course, our environment is clean, our water is clean. So it also tells the whole world that, you know, the food we grow here will probably as clean as it can be. In Ontario, especially the south part, we're able to grow about 200 or more than 200 different commodities like grains and all that. So we do have a great access to the thing that we grow. So that is also another advantage there. So I think a couple of years ago, we do have a trip to China showcasing the agriculture. We have met a few people and done a few sales, but I think it's good time to go back to China, especially China with the middle income class emerging, meaning increasing, and the consumption of food also increasing according to the money they're able to make. So all in all, I think it's good timing to go. So I'm very pleased and also very eager to partner with the Ministry of Agriculture and start a trip to China in April. I can go into the itinerary a little bit in terms of the timing. We're going to leave here on April the 15th, visiting Beijing. That's the first stop. And we stay there for a couple of days. By April the 20th, on April the 17th, which is a Friday, it will be a full day event in the Beijing area. And then by Monday, which is April the 20th, we will end up in Shandong. One of the reasons we visit Shandong is there is a big vegetable show in Shaoguang or in that area. So we were participating in the vegetable show and of course do some forum or presentation at the same time, do some corporate call as well. And after that, we will be visiting Nanjing, which is Ontario's sister province. And by the way, this year is the 30th anniversary of the relationship. So it's good to go to Nanjing and talk about upcoming activity or celebration happening in both jurisdictions. And of course, Jiangsu is an affluent province. So it's also good to go to Jiangsu and talk about agriculture with them as well. And then we will swing back to Shanghai for a day. And Shanghai, of course, we know that it's the number one city in China. A lot of trade, a lot of activity going on there. And so we end up in Shanghai. That will be the official ending of the delegation with the ministry. But after that, the Minister of Agriculture, he will go to Hong Kong for a visit. And at the moment, I will probably partner with him to Hong Kong for a visit as well. And then for 1 day, and then we come back to Canada. So the trip from 15 April and back to Canada on the 25th of April. So that's our itinerary in general. So that's more or less, I'm going to say, I'd rather leave maybe more time for questions that you may have. So thank you. Any question?
Minister, so your delegation is agriculture, but it seems that you all go to the big cities, like only Shandong and like Sichuan, lots of, and Guangdong, lots of province of agriculture.
Oh, I think as I said before, the 1.3 billion, the Chinese, they all eat every day. And Shandong, of course, is one of the, Shandong together with Henan is really the place that grow in China. And the northeast is Heilongjiang, also is a big one there for agriculture. But then we go to Beijing because the location, people can come to talk to us. Okay, I mean, not that we have to go to every other city, every other province. That we simply cannot do it. And we kind of inviting people, but there will be people out of our town in China coming to Beijing, which we must go because of it's the capital of China, and also we do have to make some political call in the city. So yes, you are right that we may not hit the Sichuan and Heilongjiang and Henan and Shandong. We hit one on Shandong, but then we do have multi functions. And the reason I go to Nanjing, of course, is about the celebration of the 30th anniversary, and it will be some big event coming up. So I need to go there and talk to the officials in Nanjing as well. So Shanghai, is always people. I already had a couple big company from Shenzhen, Shenzhen to they will travel to Shanghai and listen to or attend our presentation. So we are calling them to come to the bigger city so that we can do it in a more efficient way.
So how about Hong Kong? No agriculture there.
Actually, Hong Kong, Hong Kong at the moment, we do have a lot of trading related to agriculture, Ontario, Hong Kong, because we ship a lot of commodity in there, and then in Hong Kong, they diversify to different locations, including China, meaning that you use Hong Kong and then you go to Malaysia, you go to mainland China. So it's quite a bit of trade, agriculture with Hong Kong.
Except for agriculture, do we have any other trade area you're going to cover, and any other issues to do the trade to China?
Well, the theme is agriculture, of course, not limited to agriculture, right? I mean, any trade that benefit Ontario, of course, I'm going to talk about that. So it would be two, I would say, sizable presentation, one in Beijing, one in Nanjing. We will talk about investment in general, in particular with agriculture in there. So we are not just limited to agriculture. We can talk about anything that is tradable. Okay. In Beijing, we had two presentations. One is the one I just talked about, and then we had the smaller one, like maybe get together about 20-25 agriculture stakeholder or companies of the Chinese, that they come to the table and we would kind of present to them our strength in agriculture, what kind of product we can sell, and what kind of investment we're looking for. So those smaller ones will be strictly agriculture, kind of very much focused. So one will be done in Beijing, and one actually will be held in Shanghai. So it's two agriculture only smaller stakeholder round table, agriculture only, and then 2 bigger presentation, one in Beijing, one in Nanjing, that would including other investment as well. So we had.
Minister, are you going to sign any agreements or something with the Chinese side?
Well, if you follow my delegation, I will sign agreement with you for the media.
For what?
Yeah, we're looking forward for that. Of course, there will be perhaps some sales to be made, some agreement to be made, definitely. But we still having incoming delegation coming in. And so we can finalize that, but definitely it will be some agreement. By the way, I'm not clear on that. The Minister Agriculture and myself, we go there, and at the same time we have the delegation, meaning Ontario agriculture stakeholders or businesses. They would follow our trip, so they become the delegate from Ontario, and they will have business-to-business meetings, deals to be made, products to be sold, or even attracting investment coming back to Ontario. So the answer is yes.
So how many companies you are talking?
At the moment, this is today's press conference is kind of like a last-minute call because we will close it next Friday in terms of allow company or delegates to join us for the trip. So we still had about 1 more week. So we will finalize that number after next week Friday.
So it's a Southern Mission or Fire Mission?
Can you repeat? I'm sorry.
是高福团还是外国团？
Are you speaking French? So I understand.
係買貨啊定係賣貨咧？其實
It's both. Okay. Again, when for me, I ran a business before. I rather not limit myself to my only or my only, right? It can be both ways. And the best scenario, really is to sell them something, our agriculture productions and products. At the same time is to attract some investment from them. Okay, I find in terms of investment from Asia, in particular the Chinese, so far we have is they came here and buy perhaps some winery, the Ice Wine winery and others is very limited, and I can see we do have tremendous asset. Agriculture asset that the Chinese investor they can look into.
Minister, you're talking about like 1.3 billion Chinese they want to save food, but how this can benefit Ontario's food processing industry? Because very long distance transportation.
Well, I said the 1.3 billion people, they have to eat every day. Meaning
so how the Ontario food industry?
Meaning the consumption of food is just it's just natural. They have to eat every day. Otherwise, they will be hungry. Your question is very meaningful. Actually, compared to BC, Ontario, we do have to transport our product inland first, land transportation before it goes to the sea. So BC has some advantages. That's one of the reasons I was in BC last week, just to talk to them and see what are they doing. Are they doing very good with China or Asian area? I think many of you do not know that technology is really helpful in terms of transportation. I had one person here who's been doing export from America to China. In terms of apples, oranges, and not here, but in America. And he was telling me that, you go to this storage, the freezer and all that, even vegetable can last for a long, long time. So you'll be surprised the technology able to have a lot of agricultural product, preserve them for a long time during transportation, and get to China still is quite good quality. So you'll be surprised to know that like vegetable, it can last for like 40 days, 50 days.
The papers and the microphones are picking up the paper. You bring the paper too much.
My paper? Oh,
No, don't touch the paper.
what did I do? I don't read it anyway. Thanks.
Another thing is you are the international minister, but diversity, why only China? Any other place?
I'm the international trade minister.
Yeah, so,
I'm not international minister.
okay, trade minister, yes.
Well, I talk about we go to China, back to China for food because we found the potential there is huge. I've been to U.S. Okay, I just came back from British Columbia, and I mentioned about I come back April the 25th, but on the 27th, which is 1 day later or 2 days later, I will be visiting Mexico. And then finish May. That will be May into May, and then June I probably would be going to Europe. So it's international. It's a matter of sometimes sometimes you don't know. I'm having the press conference because it's China. I'm having the Chinese press here so that to make sure the Chinese community is informed at the same time. We feel that there are Chinese entrepreneur who's doing perhaps investment, trading related to agriculture. So if they pick up the news here, they can always contact us. Anybody who want to come with us as a delegate to China on this upcoming trip, they still have 1 week to register. So this is one of the purposes of having a press conference.
Minister,
Yes.
During last trip, you went to China with Premier. Amount of total contracts between Ontario and China is about 100 million US dollars, Canadian dollars. So any estimations of this?
Last time we were in China, I think the investment we're able to attract is close to $1 billion. Okay, close to $1 billion, and the job creation is about 1,800 jobs. So to us, that was a big number. Okay, one of the biggest number or biggest success with the Premier mission. Again, this time we haven't finalized everything yet. Deals and investment and all that still coming in here, and we will be getting the result out, during the trip or at the end of the trip. So this is how we usually do that, because we don't kind of like to miss something not announced, and it will not be kind of like fair to those deals that being done. So I would kind of like in the appropriate time would let you know how many deals signed, what's the amount, and things like that.
Minister, you mentioned that Premier will go to China this year. So that means you're going to China again if Premier goes?
I said the Premier is considering going to China this year. So I hope she will go to China this year. It was never done before for an Ontario Premier. BC Premier, I think BC Premier has been to China like in consecutive year, 2 years in a row or even 3 years in a row, but it was never happened in Ontario. And again, sometimes you go to China, you can at the same time go to Japan to to Korea, India. So it's sometimes depend on how much time. Sometimes myself or also the premier able to have, the time, long enough to do more country than only one. But then, to me, it makes sense go to China. Again, it's the most powerful emerging market, the number one trading as a country, number one in trade. So and the population is huge. They do have many challenges. The challenges they have actually become opportunity for us, right? To help them to meet their challenges. So again, is always in my opinion anyway, to go to China. The main thing is we go there, any country we visit, trade mission. I think the bottom line is how much benefit we can realize. Okay, that's to me is very, very important. Is the result that is count.
How about the Chinese high-speed train company build the track here? Because they already they come here already, right?
You're good. That's why he has so many questions. He can go outside the agriculture, but I'm going to answer that. High-speed train is good.
Yeah. Is that a possibility of they build it here?
It's a possibility. Those are very large infrastructure. Like you talk about. Yes, in China, China has built a lot of mileage or kilometers of speed train, but then for us to do one is it's not easy. It's big. Okay, the project is in $1 billion, and it takes time. So in terms of are we serious about building one, the answer is yes. The Ministry of Transportation has announced the environmental study of building a speed train from Toronto to London, or perhaps to Windsor. Is announced. It will be an EA. I was told it takes about 4 to 6 years for the environmental assessment to be properly done. Of course, on the other hand, you have the feasibility study and all that. So our position is we are very serious about building the speed train. And 咁樣講啦，廣東話就咁樣啦。佢話人盡其才，物盡其用，就係地盡其意，貨搶其流。The last one is the goods and services that they should move smoothly, that you gain the efficiency. So I think eventually North America, not only Ontario, that we do have to build something that can move very fast just to get the efficiency.
Minister, could you please tell us a little bit of information in terms of the registration or application?
Who's
here?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, can you repeat that?
I see. Yeah,
I thought God is talking.
Can you tell us the information in terms of the registration and application? I mean, if in the community, some entrepreneurs or business people, they are interested with going with your delegation to China, how they can register, how they can, is there any fee applied?
Contact my ministry or the Ministry of Agriculture, and we do have a package ready. Can send to anybody interested in joining us as a delegate. It will be detailed in terms of like who's responsible for the airline ticket, hotel, inside China, transportation costs, and how many presentation we have, and business to business meeting, things like that. So we then have a long package, and it's available. So anybody interested, please contact my ministry or the Ministry of Agriculture. You will get it.
And my following up question is that you've been in China many times, and can you tell us the big difference this time from before? What's your expectation? Even though you're already highlighting the food safety is a big deal this time, so how you led this trip to be more fruitful?
Okay. When you talk about, I've been in China many times, and my observation, since day one to now, since we talk about speed train, maybe I use speed train as one of the ways I describe China. China moved very fast. Okay. The first day I visited China, perhaps 30 some years ago, their transportation is 人力車, the rickshaw, right? Rickshaw. Yes, the person pulling it is very, very a lot of force, but then the rickshaw is traveling very slow. But now it's the speed train. That's the difference. Okay? From rickshaw speed to speed train speed. So China evolved very, very fast. So your second part or your question is again regarding, will there be deals and is it difficult or easier to engage the government? I think China have to move ahead, and there will be more deals, to be done to any country that's interested to trade with them, to engage them, and I think it will be deals. As you're probably aware, recently, in recent years, the Chinese, they really encourage their corporation, their people to outreach to the rest of the world, engage any other country that is willing to engage them. So I really believe that as long as Ontario is concerned, we are very much committed in engaging those emerging economy. That's including China, including India, Brazil, Mexico, and actually a couple other countries in my radar screen is Indonesia and Turkey. Okay, Turkey. I was told information I gather. They were kind of like nicknamed Turkey as the growth of Turkey, like a small China. So they're really rising rapidly. I met the ambassador, or I think the ambassador of Turkey or consul general of Turkey, and they're really telling me that right now they are sitting in terms of their economy 16th position, and in a few years they want to be at the 10th position. So you can see the world is very, very competitive. Okay, countries are competing with other countries. Emerging market is colliding with the mature market, and then you have more market that is also trying to emerge as well. So I would say 40 years ago, 30 years ago, you will not heard about Turkey or Indonesia. I'm telling you, you will start hear about these countries because they are emerging as well. The world is very competitive. Ontario, we have to make ourselves competitive.
而我哋就啱，我哋個農產品係相當唔錯，品種又多，而最緊要咧就係我哋個環境方面啊、水質方面啊、土地方面咧都係好優良、好清潔㗎。咁我覺得你係可以去到中國咧，就令到佢哋哇！呢個安省加拿大係唔錯喎，對我哋真係有益處喎喺呢個食品方面。咁我應該覺得就係呢個空間啊，即係做生意嘅空間好大。
咁但係大家都好睇重呢個中國嘅市場啦。咁正等於剛才你都提到啊，成個加拿大啦，咁都已經有好多競爭對手，更何況即係全世界嚟講，大家而家都好睇重中國市場。咁你覺得即係我哋安省，我哋有咩優勢可以令到此行咧會達成更加多嘅一個預期嘅目標咧？
頭先優勢講咗少少啦，咁你講得好啱啊！你話講到係其他國家都好睇重中國市場啦，而家講呢個新西蘭啦。澳大利亞啦、阿根廷啦，呢啲係農業大國嚟㗎嘛。其實佢哋喺中國個佔有嘅市場都唔錯㗎啦。講嚟咧，分分鐘咧比我哋已經係行早咗㗎啦。咁而家我哋係應該要遲咗，唔等於永遠要遲㗎嘛，亦唔等於永遠唔做㗎嘛。我覺得就係，既然我哋根本咧係有咁好嘅強項喺度啊，例如我哋嘅水啊、土啊、空氣啊，跟住係呢個種植方面都唔少啊咁樣啊，咁應該咧係 利用翻多啲佢啦。係希望咧就係喺多方面咧可以引起呢個中國方面嗰個注意力，令到我哋能夠咧喺呢個農產方面咧係可以去做一啲嘢啦。咁另外咧，我又希望咧係中國方面咧投資咧都睇下我哋嘅農業方面啦。你知加工好緊要㗎嚇，譬如話係咧，我啱去咗亞頭華，咁我食咗個餐喎，呢個餐咩咧就係嗰啲抽，嗰啲拎抽嚇，中文唔知咩名啦，都係冇骨嘅喎，就好好食添。哇！我話咁我啲抽係淡水㗎嘛，咁我淡標嚟啦咁就。你喺中國有長江魚係淡水㗎嘛？咁我即刻問，原來咧喺我哋 Northern Ontario 好多 fish farm， 即係正正係啲 commercial 嘅養魚場咧，係養呢啲魚嘅。而咧，我覺得如果我上幾日食嗰個拎抽嗰個 dinner 拎翻中國咧，我諗中國人好多食嘅。咁變咗即係有一個投資嘅呢個 investment， 好多人嚟買冰酒，我未人聽過人咧買個魚場。但係如果我即係話我嘅 experience 真係呢個真嘅 experience 嚟㗎，又咧係應該考慮下咧買我哋嘅魚場，買我哋嘅冰酒酒莊，有其他嘢買都唔出奇嘅。所以係喺呢個安省咧，其實好多好嘢嘅。有陣時咧就係呢個啲農夫啊，或者比較謙虛啲啦，就冇點樣咧去 promote 自己。如果真係大力啊，去幫自己買廣告啊，我覺得咧係應該咧。喺呢個無論喺呢個 export 方面啊、出口方面啊，或者呢個係外來嘅投資啊。